Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome once again to the Bourse Report. Today we have a look at NEL and its space in the energy sector, and what does it do for you as an investor. Is there more that can be extracted from an investment in NEL? But first, let's look at the performance of this company, NEL, for its 9-month period of operation to December 31st, 2017. And what we see in terms of, as we go to our first graph, what we see in terms of the performance of the company is, as you look at this to the right of your screen, red, meaning that the share of profits of investee companies have fallen by some 44% from 161 million to 90 million $90 equivalent. And let's go to profit after tax, and what you would see is the profit after tax has fallen quite considerably from 203 million to 132 million, resulting in an earnings per share of from 32 cents to the corresponding period to 20 cents. That is 9 months 2016 to 9 months 2017. And that is a decline of some 37.5%. What does it mean in terms of the performance, and what you get is translated into the share price, which has fallen from some $10.81 in the corresponding periods year on year to $9.65, or some 10.7% down. These are some of the factors that we have to look at. And let's look at what NEL does in the energy space for you as an investor out of Trinidad and Tobago. And we go to 2017, and there is a similar picture in 2015 and 2013, where you see the extent of the contribution of what we would call energy stock or energy players in that portfolio that NEL holds, which is quite significant. And you would see in terms of NGC, NGL, which is the pink marker, about 44% of the company earnings, or shall we say share of profits, comes from NGC, NGL. We know that there is a TTNGL on the market now, so that you as an investor can invest directly into the NGL space, which is essentially a share of the performance of the company, Phoenix Gas Processors. And then when we look at some of the other big players, certainly Trinidad production of ammonia is about 58%. And it has been a significant player in the overall space, 40% in the overall space over time. And then we look at some of the other for example, LNG, which is 7.5% of the overall contribution. And PanWest, again, which is a holding in Phoenix Gas Processors Limited directly by NEL, is another contributor. So when we look at the U.S. energy revenue generators in the NEL portfolio, you will see how significant that is, some 62% or more of the overall income. TSTT, of course, has been quite volatile. It has lost money in several periods in 2014 and 2016, so it does not make an ongoing significant contribution. There are ups and downs. So we want to go now to what's happening with the various areas and to speak about how you can participate. Ownership, it is said, creates belongingness. And yet still, our ability as investors to invest directly in ammonia operations in Trinidad and Tobago is somewhat muted. It's part of a package by NEL, where you have to buy the whole menu rather than be able to select what you want as an investment. That is the case with ammonia, whereas indirectly we get an opportunity as investors to invest in ammonia through NEL's holdings of Trinidad, which is quite different from what we see in terms of NGL, which is a direct investment in the economic value of Phoenix Gas. And that has turned out to be a pretty good investment. By that I mean that you would have bought your shares in the IPO at $20, and then you would have bought more shares in the additional public offering at $21. The share price is now $27. So what we see with regard to ammonia, while production has increased at a higher stable level, prices have fallen. This is the yellow line quite significantly. Let's go next to the next graph, which we are trying to get at. Some technical support might be required, is the whole question of exports of NGLs or butane, propane, natural gasoline from PPGPL. And we see in a different story. We see in a story where prices are going up and volumes have been increasing. When you look here, 90 cents, 95 cents on the gallon, as opposed to 68 cents on an average gallon. So this, we are seeing an improvement. Yet still, as I've said, you have a direct investment as far as that is concerned. Let's go to our next graph very quickly. And this is what I've been saying. NEL has in its portfolio NGC NGL, which is natural gas liquids, LNG, which we all know of, Tringen, which is ammonia basically, and PanWest again, which is NGC LNG. So how do you get better value? That is the question. You get better value if we can separate some of these flows and get direct access into investments. And this is the point that I'm trying to make, that you can decide, you will be able to decide as you go along where you are going to get best value, rather than owning this share that is a fixed allocation across the board. Moral of the story, why don't we go down to the next level, which we did with TTNGL as a nation, and get the opportunity to invest in what directly we want to invest in, whether it is ammonia, whether it's LNG from a company here. And we talked about the historical share of profits. This is what the US flows are from the energy companies. And this is the volatility that I've been speaking about, the TT dollar flows to NEL from TSTT, and as well as the composite of NFM. So you have to buy the entire caboodle rather than being able to cherry pick. So the point remains that we need to look at benefits from separating individual investment holdings in NEL. The time has come now where we are looking at different models in the energy sector, and there is time now to think in terms of different models for nationals or residents of Trinidad and Tobago, or investors as a whole investing in the energy sector via the local investment market. Separating individual holdings, an opportunity to invest in US dollar generating assets, very important. Option to invest in companies of choice rather than the whole package, as I said. And it is possible that the companies can be listed in the US dollar equity sector platform on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. Questions to ask and things to think about, look for us at Bourse 2268773 or 2Bourse for additional information and details of this particular presentation. Go to our website at bourseinvestment.com. Look for our various mutual funds as listed in the newspapers with regard to performance under the rubric Bourse or Save Invest. Have yourself a wonderful investment week. This is Subhash Ram Kelawan for the Bourse Report.